Hello and welcome to coverage of the TCGPlayer Max Point Invitational. We're in Las Vegas. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Frank Lepore, and we're underway in the 12th round of Swiss. That's it, the last one here.
This is it.
This should be a clean win and in for top 8. At least from what we've seen on the standings. It's a little hard to tell because of the way this tournament played out. 64 players made it to day 2. Since it's Swiss pairings, you can't play the same person twice.
Correct. So
there's a few pair downs, but all 4 of our players in the feature match here are actually on the same record. They've all got 24 match points here, and Eric Frolic on 8-3 with Mardu Dragons is facing down Simon Harden, who is on Obzon.
And one thing I like about Eric, and we realized this last time he was in the feature match area, is that he has a very quick pace of play. He doesn't mess around.
Oh,
and
he's fast, yeah.
His opponent played Elspeth, made 3 tokens, and before Eric even untapped, he Draconic roared twice, dealing 6 to his opponent, and then he just showed him Stormbreath Dragon to deal the final 4, because his opponent was at 10.
Yep.
So he's like, I have these 3 cards. Let's go to the next game. And then they did. They proceeded to the next game. Didn't slow roll, didn't waste any time. He just knew exactly what was going to happen, and he did it. He's he's a very meticulous player. He knows exactly what he's going for.
Very fast, yeah. He actually has to slow himself down occasionally, I think, just to make sure, because it comes to him so easily. Sitting next to them, Adrian Sullivan and Jeremy Barau are battling it out at the same record here as well. So we're going to keep an eye on that match as we go forward. But here, it looks like Eric Frolic's on the beatdown plan with a pair of Seekers.
And it's funny because I talked to Eric after round 3, and I was like, "How you doing?" Because I knew yesterday he was a little upset about his record. He wasn't feeling into Magic. He was just a little down. I think he went 4-3 yesterday, and I was like, how you doing today?" He's like 3-0, and I'm like, "Nice, well done." And apparently he's now 4-0, and this is if he wins this round, it's a 5-0 a 5-0 sweep today. And Crackling Doom, killing a Siege Rhino. He gains 6 this turn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he waited as well. Yeah, you'll often see Eric with this Mardu deck. It's correct often to play your instance on your turn to make sure that you get the triggers of the Seekers.
That's 6 life.
Yeah,
that's huge.
It's 6 life, and it's also 2 extra damage.
Yeah,
so
it adds up.
It adds up very quickly. One of the things that this deck is quite good at is that incidental damage, we call it, right? You get 2 damage off the Crackling Doom, an extra 2 damage from the Prowess triggers. Let's make sure we have our life totals being updated. All right, there we go. There's number 9 for Simon Harden is what he's at, and you can see that these Seekers have done some real work here.
This Siege Rhino's come to avenge his brother.
Yep, twin brother too.
That's right.
Now, Efro actually has another Crackling
same
Doom
birthday and
in
everything.
his head here too, in his hand here, and looks like he's going to be able to run back a similar play, though. Simon now respecting the fact that he could take huge amounts of damage and leaving back his 1/1 Wayfinder here.
Crackling Doom again.
Yep. I wonder if Eric has a has a burn spell to get in for 8 here.
That would be, especially if it's a Draconic Roar, kill your guy.
But if it was Draconic Roar reveal, he would kill him.
That'd be game.
Yeah. If he doesn't have reveal, then it wouldn't be.
He's doing something.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to reveal, but he may have a Draconic Roar just to kill it. Yeah,
and then there's so many spells in his deck that actually kill his opponent.
That's right. Now, another Siege Rhino, the 3rd one in a row, would put a crimp in that plan. It looks like it's going to be Murderous Cut.
That's still fine.
On the Wayfinder.
Still deals 8.
Yeah, it's 8 damage. It's also 8 life gained here, so huge swings for Eric Frolic as he's really managed to leverage these 2 Seekers of the Way in a big way.
Simon is at 2.
Yeah.
How is that even this is not even look at these Seekers of the Way.
Yeah. Full on.
These guys have found these are finders of the way.
This is an interesting play here. He's got a land to play, so that does put him up to 3, which gets him out of range of some things. Ooh. And he's got a 2nd one here too.
Crackling Doom, kill you. Yeah, that would kill one of the coursers. Simon would go down to 1, and then one of the 2 Seekers of the Way. That game was lightning fast.
It was. Simon,
I don't even think they're done shuffling on the back tables.
Simon elicits a smile out of Eric, and why not? That was a total beating. Let's jump over to our other table where we have Adrian Sullivan.
Got Adrian on the left.
Yeah, that's Adrian on the left.
A quick glance would... wait, is that...
Is that what?
Where did this... he stole this Sylvan Caryatid from...
yeah.
I assume he stole it from...
He Ashiok'd it, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, his opponent is Jeremy Barau.
I was like, wait, because you see the Temple of Malady on Adrian's side, and you're like, wait, is he playing green?
He does. He plays that. He also plays Opulent Palace in the deck, so he can cast things like he can steal things and cast them. You see that pop up. He can activate Pelucranos.
Yeah. So he has a ton of it's a ton of versatility in the deck. So like if you're stealing a Pelucranos with an Ashiok, the Temple of Malady helps you activate it. Like it's just very versatile mana base here. And he also has the Temple of Enlightenment, so he's playing off-color. But make no mistake, Adrian's deck is just straight blue-black. But he's playing these off-color Scrylands, not only for the Scry itself, but for whatever incremental advantage they might gain you from activated abilities and whatnot.
Now, what has Jeremy got going on over here? I see there's a Torrent Elemental
and a Tassiger. Look at his graveyard
so
has an Atarka and a Whippet Erebos?
Yeah, he's playing Sidisi with Atarka, it looks like.
Yes.
All right, so let's just clear off the board here. Thank you, Adrian. It was very kind of you.
Where did this Doomwake Giant come from?
Did not catch that. I'm not sure.
There wasn't like an Oblivion Ring on the board, right?
I guess he... Did he activate Ashiok?
Oh, he might have activated Ashiok and then Perilous Vault with the Ashiok ability on the stack, so it resolves after Perilous Vault. Oh, that's epic. That's
yeah, I didn't
play.
see what was under Ashiok, but that's the only play that makes sense here. All right, so here's Sidisi Brood Tyrant now. And there's another Sidisi there as well.
Adrian with a 4/5. That's pretty, or 4/6. That's pretty sweet. I don't know if the
not for long.
I don't know if the Constellation ability would have been relevant at all for Adrian, but still a sweet. Still
gonna jump back over to the other graveyard here.
Still a murderous cut, which is better than nothing, you know. And I don't actually think. Okay, it looks like Jeremy has like maybe one card left in hand over there. Nope, like three.
Yeah.
No, one's a Sullivan carry. It looks like a Hero's Downfall and another Atarka.
That's correct.
Which most likely can't be hardcast very easily in Jeremy's deck, I imagine. So, as far as lands go, he does have a Wooded Foothills. He has one mountain to cast Dragon Lord Atarka. He also has 2 Frontier Bivouacs. So he does have some ways to cast it. He also has the Sylvan Caryatid package. So
and of course he can whip it back into play.
I think that's one of the other main strategies he employs. Which Whip of Erebos, gain 8 real quick from Atarka and kill maybe part of your team, if not all of it, which is a pretty sweet whip target.
Alright, he misses here with the Sidisi trigger, but still is crunching in there for 5 damage.
Nope.
Knocking Adrian down to 14, it looks like. And does he want to try to resolve something while the shields are down? It looks like his play is going to be just a Caryatid. Yeah, he also had the option of playing a Doomwake Giant, but it looks like he'd prefer to have a threat back in hand just in case Adrian fires off a sweeper of some sort here.
It looks like Adrian can actually just play Silence the Believers in hand, which means he can basically exile any 2 creatures that whenever he wants, or he can just wait and exile more.
He's going to want to do that before attacks. He's going to leave behind a zombie if that is his plan here. Now he also could be on the mill plan.
It's relevant when he has one of his main win conditions is
all right, let's jump back over to the main match. We'll keep an eye on this one for you guys in the background.
So this first game took about 3.5 minutes, I would say. So yeah, Eric Frolic just made very quick work of Simon in this game 1.
Yeah, he chewed him right up.
2 Seekers of the Way really got the job done. 2 Thunderbreaks and an Outpost Siege. This is and an Anger of the Gods. Anger of the Gods is pretty good against Abzan because it gets rid of all the Death Misraptors forever. It's not ideal against like Coursers of Krufix or Siege Rhinos, obviously, but
yeah. But the good news is that Ifro has some pretty good answers to those.
Right, he's not lacking any sort of Siege Rhino plan.
Yeah, the removal suite for this Mardu deck is pretty impressive. You know, highlighted by Crackling Doom. That's the card you really get. Interesting. So Simon's actually going to take one of the Thunderbreak regions. He left the Outpost Siege in hand. That tells me that Simon thinks that he can make this game end sooner than Eric would like it to, because if he lets that siege start going, forget it. I mean, that siege just completely dominates the mid to late part of the game.
Simon's deck list. He doesn't have like Dromoka's command, right? I doubt it.
It's not impossible.
Doesn't look like it. He has 2 in the sideboard.
he has written down that he has 4 obs on command. Assuming he meant charm.
Yes. Okay. That's actually very funny.
Wouldn't mind designing an obs on command.
Yeah,
here
there's no.
That one doesn't exist. Maybe one day.
There are no tricolored commands yet.
Maybe if we get our order in early enough.
I think we can do it.
I mean, do you have any connections in R&D, or do you know anybody?
I could ask some guys.
Call a number. Some guys.
I can call in a favor.
Okay, you can ask some guys. All right, so let's see how important this morph is to Eric. Very. He is going to immediately fire off Anger of the Gods. He didn't have anything else to do this turn. And
I don't
think going to kill the Den Protector
based on Eric's hand, he has 2 4-drops and a 5-drop at least that we know about. I think he has a Stormburst Dragon in there, and like you just don't have time to wait and try to get more value out of the Anger. You're just never going to have a chance to cast it this game.
All right, so there we go. Siege Rhino. Now this is where Siege Rhino is supposed to match up well against cards like Thunderbreak Region. It's just bigger, has a more immediate effect. Well, let's see what Eric can do to get out of this here. Facing down some pressure.
Yeah,
Last game he was able to mitigate it for the duration of the game and use 2 Seekers of the Way to get through for a bunch. But this time he's just going to have to settle for playing the 4/4 region.
This is where he would kill for a Foul Tongue Invocation or a Crackling Doom.
Yes. Instead, though, ouch, down to 12 for Ifro. Ifro's up a game here. Simon Harden had a really nice day 1. Has hung on there nicely in day 2 here as well, and is looking to finish strong and put himself in the top 8 of this thing. But he's had to play, Paulos and Ifros all day, so.
And another Siege Rhino.
And here we go.
And we never see just one. Just to reiterate.
This one could be over quickly as the other one if Eric can't find an answer to these Siege Rhinos. I was talking about the Outpost Siege.
Crackling Doom? What's the last card in his hand?
Yeah, it is. I was talking about these the Outpost Siege, right? Which is really good card for the mid to late game, but if you're under pressure, it's not.
It's just you're not gonna recover fast enough.
Yeah, so you can see that from that early Thoughtseize, we mentioned in the booth here that we thought, well, okay, Simon says I can take this game over.
Well, here's one.
And that's exactly what he's done.
Right now, Eric can definitely Crackling Doom.
He's just going to play a defensive Storm Breath here.
That's actually fine.
Yeah, so he's basically just hoping that Simon doesn't have a hero's downfall,
we knew
but
Simon
he does.
Did.
And that will do it. But, Ifro thought that gave him the best chance to win was to leave up the blocker and then try to stabilize further because he could try to finish off in the air, but instead it is not to be.
If Eric had Draconic Roar and Crackling Doom, he could have Crackling Doom, kill one of the Siege Rhinos, blocked the other one, and then Draconic Roar to finish it off. So, I mean, Simon would have taken 5 there and dealt with both of the Siege Rhinos and at the cost of 3 cards, which is... it's fine.
Okay, let's check back in on what Adrian Sullivan...
Yeah, both of those games were very quick.
Yeah, very quick games.
So, is this the same game? I imagine it is.
Yep.
Jeremy's deck looking very, very small. You can tell the graveyard is much taller than
the library there.
Revealed Courser.
Totally. We were seeing that Adrian from the early stages kept pointing out, hey, make sure you use your trigger there from Sidisi.
Yeah,
and
it was very relevant.
We were guessing that maybe he was on this plan of like, well, I'm just going to mill him anyway, so every one of these triggers is great.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Adrian has 4 Ashioks in his deck, which is, I mean, that guy tries to mill you as well. So if you're working Ashiok and Sidisi and one of your main deck strategies is milling its own cards, like, I mean, that's a legitimate plan.
Ooh.
I mean, but you also
Dragon Lord Atarka has to get countered.
Adrian's grip is full. Like, Adrian has 7 cards, 2 of which are counter spells. One is that Silence the Believers that he had earlier, so he didn't actually use it. Based on his graveyard, it looks like he might have Cruxifated it, or Ugin and exiled all the permanents. But I can also see, interesting, Adrian just lets it resolve. He says, I can kill this with the Silence the Believers. I can't kill a spell that you might play with the Silence the Believers, so I'll just I'll kill this guy and then just counter a more threatening card that you might play.
Planeswalker or something like that.
So yeah, I mean, Adrian's basically saying like, I have inevitability this game, and I'm going to counter the things that would, you know, prevent me from winning rather than. And he's just going to make him discard going up. Oh, can you imagine if Adrian ultimates Liliana this game?
No, that would be.
Put all
actually, wait, but most of those cards were in the exile zone.
I think there were probably still a good amount in the.
Yeah.
And also Silence the Believers.
Interestingly, I think Jeremy had that same idea that you did.
And Silence the Believers exiled the Dragonlord of Tarka too, so yeah, there was a ton of ways that exiled creatures rather than put them in the graveyard.
Yeah, that did it. Adrian picked up the first game.
Yeah, and like it's funny because like everyone else is playing Esper. They're putting Dragonlord Ojutai in their control deck, but Adrian's just like, I don't need that card. I'm literally just gonna play black-blue and win with these Ashioks and just control the board. Yeah, he brings some different looks to the table. He knows what kind of deck he likes. He builds these type of decks. Where's Adrian's list? Does he also have? Does he have Silumgar Scorn in his list? Because you don't have a lot of dragons.
Assume that. I don't think he runs any dragons, does he?
No, his counter speed is 4 dissolves, 1 negate, and 1 dissolve. He has 1 dissolve on the main deck.
1 dissipate.
Dissipate rather.
Yeah.
4 dissolves, 1 dissipate.
So 6 total hard counters.
Yeah, which is less than the Esper versions that have like the 4 Silumgar Scorns. All right, we're going to get a sweet game 3 here. I've really liked how this has played out. It's been 2 quick games. Very quick games, yeah. But there's been a lot of action in them. It's not like one player did nothing. Right, exactly. It's been a lot of interaction back and forth, and yeah, no one's getting stuck on mana or anything. Yeah, it's kind of exciting to watch. I mean, I think from the players' perspectives, they'd probably disagree with us. Right. They'd probably like, that was a complete blowout. Yeah, I think Simon would probably say, yeah, well, he just had it all the whole time. Yeah. And then on the other one, Eric says, yeah, well, he played 2 Siege Rhinos back-to-back, and I didn't have an answer, so what do you want from me? Hopefully, get some excitement out of this game. It's funny, the I'm planning on it. 2 Seekers of the Way did the same damage, did the same work as 2 Siege Rhinos. Yeah, they did even more, maybe. Yeah. I mean, they probably got in a couple of times early, too. Looks like Simon's going to 6. Eric happy with his 7. And if you guys are interested in selling any of your own cards, maybe the ones you've seen here today, decks that we're not doing so well, you guys can start selling your cards on TCGPlayer.com. You don't have to have a store. You can just sell them from your own personal account. And no listing fees. You get them sold, throw them up, list the condition, and start making some money. So head on over to TCGPlayer.com, sell your cards. What if I had a foil 9th edition Tree Monkey? Well, you could sell that if it... It's not for sale. Oh, this is awkward. Well... Pre-reach, my friend. Is that a real card? Is Tree Monkey a real card? Not kidding. So it's yours, though. It's in your personal The Marshall Sutcliffe collection? Correct. If you ever safely in a binder. If you ever wanted to sell it, we'll help you out. That would be the place to go? Okay. We can head on over. We got you covered. If my days get so dark as to sell my foil 9th edition pre-reach Tree Monkey, I know where to go. Alright, so Thoughtseize on turn 2 here from Eric is going to reveal a hand with a Courser, a Downfall, and a Raptor. And the Courser Crewfix is what Eric's going to take away. Play a land and ship it back over to Simon, who's going to just play a Scry land and pass the turn back. Alright, so let's see what Eric has for his turn 3. Wow, he has 2 Regents in hand. Is he out of land drops, though, is my question. I mean, he did have to mulligan this game. It's very possible. I'm talking about Eric. Oh, we're not... Oh, yeah. That's no good at all. As Frank would say, no bueno. No bueno, sir.
And the no buenos continue.
How we want this to end.
No, the good news is that Simon hasn't been able to do anything, but Eric cannot buy a bucket here. He just drew an Elspeth.
So upset. This is so sad.
Why wouldn't he be? All right, here's a land.
All right, so we're not done yet. There's no
And he's got Crackling Doom in hand, which he can't actually cast.
And Simon missed the crucial 6 land to play Elspeth. Oh, this could be... We could still have a game.
He's going to play a Rabble Master. That's going to get Heroes Down.
That's going to eat it. My concern is that Simon's going to draw a land for Elspeth before Eric can recover, but next turn Eric can start dropping 4-mana dragons.
Totally. He kept whatever spell that was on top, too. Ooh, but there's a Den Protector off the top. If you're not going to draw a land for Elspeth, Den Protector's a real nice rip.
It's a perfect use of your 5 mana.
Yeah. Ooh, but a Crux of Fate now from Eric. And he's just going to play the Siege.
Just put him back.
So that is going to help him draw lands. He realizes, look, I'm at 16. I know bad things are on their way, but I might...
this is a...
Well, a Crux can really help, though.
There's a lot of
untapped land here is really good, though, for Simon.
Citadel.
Doesn't find it.
Yep, it was not it.
Eric's most assuredly behind, but he's given himself the best possible chance to hit these lands and start playing relevant spells here.
Courser of Crufix comes down. Abzan solves. There's a lot of things going on.
This is a big turn here for Eric. Untap land to... He finds it! And he's got 2 black mana sources, so he can Crux here. Wipe away the board.
And then he can actually untap, play his own Elspeth, theoretically, if he draws a land for it?
Yes, he unfortunately doesn't get to use that Temple.
You know, I think that's the least of his worries right now.
Yeah, I mean, the key was that he found an untapped mana source because he knows that this is coming down. So here's Elspeth, and this next turn is going to be huge for Eric.
There's a time in Standard when the control matches just literally came down to Elspeth versus Elspeth, and like, you guys would both just amass tokens. That's actually even... The Bloodstained Mire comes into play untapped. He can play Elspeth of his own.
And have an Elspeth fight on our hands. He also then... let's see. I'm just going to let Ephro take this one. So he has options here. He also has Kolagon. Kolagon with dash kills Elspeth. Cleanly, too. There's no interaction possible for Simon.
Yes. So we know Simon didn't get back the Hero's Downfall. He got the Courser, so he doesn't... As far as Eric knows, he doesn't have a Hero's Downfall for his
I think he's seen the second one.
He does have a second one.
Yes.
That is unfortunate.
I believe that he saw it with Thoughtseize.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate.
All right, so he's going to trade a turn for Elspeth.
Get out of here. Get out of here, Angry.
Yeah, this is huge. This next draw step here could be really big for Simon if he can find a threat, and he can't. Though he did find a Thoughtseize, which is pretty good to take away Elspeth from Eric.
No. Oh no, things are going so crazy. This game is crazy.
I think Eric's still okay here.
Yeah, especially because he has the Outpost Siege to keep either drawing lands to play or drawing gas.
That's right. I mean, these soldiers are going to do a little work. They're going to knock Eric down to 7. But then it's going to go dragon, dragon, dragon for Eric.
And Eric also has ways to gain life, like Foul Tongue Invocations and...
Good point, yeah, that's true. And dragons
Seeker
in
of the Way if he has them.
Seeker would be amazing here.
Just infinite block all your guys.
Yeah, just can set up blocks and then gain him back the life later so that he doesn't get in any type like of Siege Rhino range. All right, let's see what he rips here. This is the C. Yeah, okay. And I didn't see what his drawn card was.
Temple's still fine. It gives you a scry and it's a free land to play.
It was Draconic Roar?
He does have a Draconic... Yeah, it might have been Draconic Roar. He does have a Draconic Roar. Yeah, and he has 2 Stormbreath Dragons, or 2 Thunderbreak Regents, and a Crackling Doom in hand.
Yeah, and as well as
a land.
Kolagon also.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he could just play Stormbreath Dragon, or I keep calling it Stormbreath Dragon.
Thunderbreak Regent.
Thunderbreak Regent. Still have Draconic Roar up.
That's not bad.
And play the Temple that he got for free. So
that's not bad.
Seems okay.
He is going to go to 6 here, though. Obviously, he has to be careful with his life total.
Real close.
He is so close to turning in the corner on Simon here, and Simon just needs to find some action off the top. Any threat.
The downfall, right?
He just needs a threat.
Because he can just kill the
He can keep this board at bay, but he wants to finish off Eric quickly because every turn that goes by is Eric getting value from his outpost siege.
And these all his dragons are so big. Like, a lot of them have haste, and these are 4 to 5 damage chunks, and you can only take so many of those. And scry that guy to the bottom. Yep, and there's Thunderbreak Region, past the turn, Heroes Ultimate. Oh, he's got Ultimate Price and Heroes Downfall.
Yeah, so he can use
that's Brutzo Toots.
The Ultimate Price here on the Thunder.
Also an Abzan Charm. His hand is just mono removal.
Right, that's the problem. He needs threats. Now he does have the soldiers, which are going to help.
Would probably respond here. Well, I guess you don't have to respond. You still have Thunderbreak Regions in the hand that you can reveal.
And he's actually going to draw 2. I like this play from Simon here. He needs to find, because I think and there's the Rhino. That's game. Actually, that's not game. It depends on what Eric does. No, if Eric takes it, it's game.
There's no way he takes it because it gives him it's a 3-turn clock instead of a 2-turn clock.
Totally. All right, so Eric is going to go to 1 here though, and he's going to be facing down 3 separate creatures. This is
and we know
not a good spot for Eric Frolic.
Well, actually, he's got Crackling Doom. If he can draw 1 removal spell. Oh, it looks like a Bloodstain Mire.
Yeah, I mean, he's at 1 life here. Yeah, I just don't see any reason for Simon not to attack with all of his creatures. Like, because Eric can play 4/4 flyer and keep up Crackling Doom here. But there's just no reason for Simon not to ship with the team.
In addition to the Crackling Doom in his hand, Eric would actually need 2 removal spells. A Crux of Fate here would be fantastic, but that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, the Crux of Fate would be amazing, but
yeah, there's not that. I think this game is over. I don't think there's anything Eric can do here. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, a Secret of the Way would have been nice here. Would have been perfect.
I mean, the fact that he has 3 creatures.
And that's going to do it. Simon Harden defeats Eric Frolic and is probably going to advance to the top 8 here. Yeah, we're thinking these are what it is.
Is going to do it, I would imagine.
That was a good match, though. A real punch fest between these 2 players here, just slugging it out with their mid-range decks.
So we still have Adrian Sullivan on the back table. So we're going to check these guys out. We got Adrian Sullivan on the left.
This is Jeremy on the right. Jeremy Barau. Adrian, of course, is a Pro Tour top 8 competitor.
What is that land in the graveyard? Evolving Wilds? Look at that. Look at that. Promo Evolving Wilds.
That is what that is.
What a crazy thing. Nope. Ashiok 3. I get your Sidisi. Adrian can win off this Sidisi, probably. Never mill a creature. I don't think Adrian has a single creature in his deck.
No, he doesn't mess around with those.
I don't have time for those things.
Yeah, Dragon Lord Atarka, though, hitting for 8 and taking out Ashiok here is huge.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wow. That's 8 lifelink.
Apparently Whip of Erebos giving haste is pretty good.
Yeah, this is what he designed this deck to do, or what the deck designer did, and what he had in mind when he took it to the tournament. And we've got a perfectly cleared board here. I think Adrian's checking in on the graveyard here of Jeremy. Tick-tock. Takes a while, but...
It's funny watching Adrian's deck in action, because it's literally almost always just lands.
Yeah, I don't know if action's the right word for that. Watching Adrian's deck. Oh. All right, here is a Torrent Elemental, though.
That's actually a pretty sweet creature, because even if it's really exiled, which is pretty easy to do in Jeremy's deck, you can just you can flash it back, or I want to say flash it back, whip it back, and then it gets exiled. And
yeah, I mean sometimes it gets Ashiok'd.
Yeah.
And you're like, thanks.
Oh, I'll just play it from Ashiok. Yeah, that's real sweet.
Yeah, it's really nice tech.
Is this Adrian's graveyard, I presume, along the bottom, near closest to Adrian? With the crux and the disdainful stroke?
That's his yard, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I figured it as much.
He does it in a weird way. It's hard to figure out what the heck's going.
It's like it's like its own puzzle.
Yeah, all of his lands are attacking right now.
They're all in the red zone.
Deep into the red.
Good times.
Is that a cranial archive?
Yes.
Holy crap.
He's going to reshuffle his own deck.
Oh, that's great. Man.
Unless you're like a
ready for battle here.
Cons of Tarkir drafter, you might not even know what this card does.
Yeah.
Cranial Extraction, or Cranial Archive is basically like a... What's the other card that did the same thing?
Well,
like an Elixir of Immortality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Cranial Archive says, exile Cranial Archive, target player shuffles his or her graveyard into his or her library, and then you get to draw a card.
Yeah, 2 to cast, 2 to activate.
So, despite, we believe, Adrian winning the last game by milling, he's having Jeremy shuffle his graveyard into his library. And with a Whip of Erebos in play, like, that's pretty relevant, especially when he had Torrent Elemental, too. So he just actually denied Jeremy access to a couple creatures and then drew a card himself.
Yeah, he certainly did. Torrent Elemental was going to come back, hit him, get exiled, then get cast again
and then
later.
Hit him again.
Now it's buried somewhere in that library.
And against Adrian's deck, Jeremy's life total is relatively irrelevant.
Oh, here's Dragonlord's Prerogative. Yeah, this should be the turning point here for Sullivan. Now he should be completely in the driver's seat. He's got Jeremy Barau down to no creatures, 1 card in hand, which is irrelevant. It's a Sylvan Caryatid.
Look at Adrian's
and
grip.
no graveyard, and he just drew 4 cards with his deck. It's going to take a while.
Every time someone casts Dragonlord Prerogative, I mean,
you wanted to get a sandwich, you could go get a sandwich, but I would say Adrian Sullivan is like
Dragonlord's Prerogative drawing 4 cards is so insane.
Yeah.
That's like that might as well be 1 million cards.
Yeah, it was 1 million. I counted.
Okay. Seems very close.
Yeah, he's fallen down to 10, but again, no graveyard. Like, this game is over. That Dragonlord's Prerogative is so nasty. Jeremy needs to find a way to get a bunch of cards into his graveyard. That's the best way that he has to fight back. And by the way, Jace's ingenuity to follow up. God, it must feel good to be Adrian right now. Look at him. He's so excited.
You have so much. You have the only thing you can do is draw cards. Oh wow, that's so good right now. And we kept talking about.
He kind of non-bowed this with the Cranial Archive.
We keep talking about the Liliana, but she's been doing so much work for Adrian. Like, he'll play her and still have 4 mana left up to counter whatever, and then he'll just start going to town. Like, he's either going to make Jeremy discard. He can tutor for something like an Ashiok or an Ugin to help him win the game. If he needed a counter spell, he can go get one.
No, Jeremy's like, I can play land go also. Watch this.
Yeah, but the thing is, Adrian's gonna force you to discard every card you draw.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's gonna tutor.
Now he goes and gets what, Ashiok or something like that, maybe an Ugin.
He'll never show you.
And just takes over. Ugin? Yeah. I bet you it was. Then he plays a Scryland and says, you know, the one I just tutored out of my library,
I'm not
keep
even
that one on top.
Yeah, it gets to the point where, like, you just play your lands, even if you don't get the scry off of them. You just want to have lands to play.
And here's Ashiok as
well. So I imagine the Ashiok was not what he went to search for.
It looks like Adrian is going to be able to top 8 this event as well.
Yeah, don't count our chickens before they hatch, but it seems like it could be a definite possibility.
From my view, there's chickens just running around.
They're all over.
Yeah, they're
out of the
hatched. I may have made an omelet at some point.
There's a Sidisi again. Let's see if Adrian actually cares.
Adrian could have countered that 3 different ways and is like, nah.
So, Sullivan Caryatid. Yeah, that is a zombie.
Spit out a zombie token here. And boo. Non-Rashad token.
Yeah, that's just not classy at all.
Although it's hard for me to hold it against Jeremy to use the official token.
It's just a weird crabby zombie. Look at that crab
reasonable
creature.
Yeah. All right, so he draws the Ugin that he put there last turn.
And Adrian's very close to having the triple planeswalker trifecta. I have to assume...
Yeah, anytime you get this super friendly, things end pretty quickly.
I have to assume that Ugin is going to come down and exile all things that cost...
4.
Maybe, but then he loses Ashiok, so maybe he just lightning bolts to DC here, which is probably an okay thing to do. Nope, he exiles all the 4s.
Yeah.
All right.
That makes sense. Just get everything out of there. I mean, even though it doesn't live that perfect dream like you just described, I mean, he's still got Liliana and Ugin on a completely empty board against an opponent who's top decking, so...
And Adrian has 5 cards in hand.
Chicken's running everywhere.
And he searches for another card, puts it on top. Liliana has Demonic Tutored, or Vampiric Tutored from 2 times now, and that's pretty strong. You just get to find whatever you want. Oh, yeah, Ugin, Jeremy's letting Adrian know that Ashiok gets exiled because of Ugin's ability. Ooh, he's gonna think for a second about this Polluted Delta.
Take a look at the nice Rob Alexander artwork, and then ship it back.
And then Adrian's like, you know what? I'm gonna make you discard it. I feel like when someone
play it.
Yeah, when someone has an active Liliana against you, you just play your lands.
You just play the land. I mean, why? You know, there's just no upside to
like
he's not gonna.
He's not going to -2 Liliana and let her die. He's just going to plus her there, so you might as well just play it.
Jeremy Barau is hanging right in there, at least mentally, but as far as the game goes, he's done. Adrian just needs to figure out how to do either 30 damage or mill out Jeremy, and he's got multiple options with which to do
10
that.
Ugin activations.
Yeah, I'll be here the whole night, so...
And the funny thing is, Ugin's ultimate doesn't actually win the game for Adrian because he doesn't have any permanents that are like worthy of putting into play and winning it. And Radiant Fountain is not
relevant.
It's yeah, it's not relevant here. You're right.
Let's see here. Jeremy Barau keeps drawing cards, keeps passing the turn back.
I mean, a lot of Jeremy's creatures have 3 power, like Torn Elemental, Sidisi, so like.
I think this is going to be an Ashiok. What do you think?
Going from 11 to 13. We're going to find out.
I think that that might be as quick as clock here.
And Ugin goes up to 45. Just kidding, it's 9.
Bile Blight, again, is the discard, because, you know, this is what he's discarding here. And
I think Adrian does have Frolic Ancient in the sideboard, which he might have brought in, but... yeah, he has 1 Frolic Ancient in the sideboard. No creatures in the main deck, though. Do you remember yesterday when Adrian cast Interpret the Signs, revealed a Tasigur, which was a 6-drop, and then drew 6 cards?
That was sweet.
Tasigur's also a sideboard card. He has none in the main.
He did get Ashiok with his Liliana.
I mean, it's actually a quick clock. Like,
yeah, it's much quicker.
4 cards a turn? Like, if your opponent has 40 cards, which would be very close to the beginning of the game, that's 10 turns. I have to imagine Jeremy has significantly less, considering his exile pile is almost the same size as his graveyard.
Here's Hero's Downfall to kill Ugin.
Ugin being... I
would counter this.
Yeah, I don't want my Ugin to die. Adrian doesn't care, though.
He doesn't have to counter it, so he doesn't. I mean, it makes sense,
I just have an emotional attachment to Ugin, so
I know,
I
like Ugin, too. It's a personal thing.
You'll never hurt him.
Yeah. There's Torn Elemental. We talked about this earlier, and here it is.
From exile.
Casting it off of the Ashiok. That's pretty sick.
And Hero's Downfall.
Hero's Downfall, though, it says having none of that.
And you cannot, unfortunately, cast it from the graveyard, so that is not as relevant.
No. He needs a delve. Oh, he's got a Murderous Cut in his hand. He can get it back exiled again.
That's true. He can just delve it. But there has to be a target, so he'd have to kill his own guy.
Yeah,
this is like,
awkward.
This is a game of leveling. They make you discard. Discard that Murderous Cut.
He's not going to get to do it, yeah.
Jeez, Adrian has complete control of this game right now. Look at this row of Ashiok creatures here.
There's a Dissipate off the top as well, just to make sure that things keep going.
Well, Adrian was getting to the point where he only had 1 or 2 counterspells in hand, so you definitely want that extra counterspell.
There's another Whip that's getting exiled too, which can matter. Not that it does here. Adrian has infinite counterspells, answers, and threats on board, so this one's just about done.
Yeah, Jeremy's deck has probably about 4 cards in it. Oh, yeah, draw a card. Adrian probably does not counter that, nor does he care.
I'm wondering, it depends on how many cards are in his... Oh yeah, he doesn't even have that many in his library.
I think both his graveyard and his exile pile are taller than his his deck right now.
I think you might be right.
Well, that's pretty good.
Alright, there's one that finally has been deemed counterable.
Yeah, dissolve followed by a scry. Adrian kept the card on top, which means it could be anything.
Could just be another counter.
Talk about playing cards close to the vest here.
Alright. He slaps his hand away. Jeremy says, no, those are mine.
Perilous Vault. A little bit of insurance, yeah.
A little backup plan there. That will not get activated this game, though.
It's funny putting Adrian being in a position where he's like, are you sure you drew off a Whip of Erebos? I just want to make sure you drew that card when the enchantment came into play. Adrian still has 2 counter spells in hand.
Yeah.
Look at Jeremy's deck.
Yeah,
I think
his
it's
library
like a 2-turn clock now.
Shrinking quickly. I don't think there's anything left in Jeremy's deck that can actually get him 15
and Adrian's at 15.
Here.
He could just take 2 damage here. Ashiok can take 2 damage. Liliana can take 2. It doesn't matter. These are all very reasonable things, and Adrian has no problem doing any of them. Make you discard that Satyr Wayfinder not being played for obvious reasons.
Here we go.
Yeah, it looks like about 4 to 5, between like 4 and 7 cards would be my guess.
That's what I'm seeing too.
Looks like 5 and 4. $13.
Here's a Courser of Crew Fix, which is going to reveal the top card of the library. Even if it is a land, he's not going to play it, though. And that's going to do it.
He just, the writing was on the wall there, as they say.
Yep. And that's it. Adrian Sullivan looks like he's put himself into top 8. A little high five
from Craig Wesco.
There. Yeah. Craig said he's going to join us in the booth for the top 8, which is really cool.